Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book video about every book I've read in the year 2025. Got 15 books here and I'm going to rank them 1 to 15. Number 15, we got Big Swiss by Jen Beagin. I don't have a copy of this. I actually loaned it to a friend who never gave it back, unfortunately. I should have learned my lesson by now. Nobody returns books when I let them borrow them. But anyways, I'm not that mad about it. I didn't really enjoy the book. I mean, I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but then afterwards I was like, that wasn't that great. So yeah, that's going to be number 15 for me. Number 14, and I want to say from here on out, the rest of the list, there's not a single bad book. It was actually pretty difficult for me to rank them. But the next one is going to be The Big Lie About Race in America's Schools edited by Royal M. Johnson and Sean R. Harper. This is a really good read. It taught me a lot about critical race theory and how, the banning of critical race theory in the classroom leads to racism and racial prejudice. Very politically driven book, and I would recommend it to all of today's educators. Number 13, we got Dan by Chuck Palahniuk. I read this and I didn't enjoy it while I was reading it, and almost the entire plot has been erased from my memory. I read it earlier this year, but I can't tell you a thing about it. And I just compare this to Palahniuk's other works, and this is like the weakest one I've read out of the 5 books I've read by him. It's got an interesting premise, though, about a girl who evidently overdosed on marijuana. That's how she died, and she goes to hell. Number 12, we got Desperation by Stephen King. This is a very hefty book. This is actually a first printing from 1996, I want to say. Yep, 1996. And, I just, thought this is one of his weaker books. The setting is really interesting. He's got some good characters in here. The setting is like a very secluded town in Nevada. It was a decent read. I just thought it was way too long. It's almost 700 pages, and I think it could have been trimmed to like 400. Number 11, we got a classic, The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury. This is a very strong collection of science fiction stories. The Velt and the Rocket Man are my favorite stories in this collection. They're amazing, like chef's kiss. They're very good science fiction stories. I'd recommend this book to all sci-fi fans, people who are fans of classic literature. Number 10, we got Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is a great depiction of an anxiety disorder. John Green, these characters are all high schoolers, and he just has such a great, realistic voice for that age group. Yeah, I thought it was really enjoyable overall. I like a realistic fiction book every now and then. Number 9, this is a collection of essays, How to Be Alone by Jonathan Franzen. And I went to college and then I stopped reading for a couple years, and this is the first book I picked up after a year of not reading for leisure, and it got me back into reading. It's got some really interesting essays in this collection. I really like Sifting the Ashes about the tobacco industry and cigarettes and all that. It's got some other really interesting essays in here. Some of them are really dense, and some of them I didn't really care for. The one about the Postal Service and the one about the tobacco industry were my favorites, and I definitely recommend this collection. Number 8, we got The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. I've been wanting to read this for a really long time. It's a very short book. You can get through this in a couple hours, but it's very good, very creepy, kind of a slow burn, but it pays off in the end. Number 7, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, also known as Blade Runner by Philip K. Dick. I've been meaning to read this for a really long time too. This is a great short science fiction story. Definitely recommend it to any fans of sci-fi. Number 6, we're getting into the really good books. This is another collection of essays, The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. This book is chock full of really short essays. It's a very good read, very interesting. John Green, every single essay in this collection is interesting. He even wrote an essay about trees that I thought was thought-provoking. And yeah, it was interesting to read nonfiction from Green. Number 6, The Lost by Jack Ketchum. This is another really good book. This book is right up my alley, right in my genre of choice. It's a thriller. The character Ray in this book is a total psychopath, and I really loved his character. But again, I don't know why, but a lot of this plot got erased from my memory. Can't recall a lot of what happened in this book, but I really did enjoy this book. I'd recommend it to horror fans, thriller fans. Number 4, I've been meaning to read this book for years, and I'm glad I finally did. This is Watchers by Dean Koontz. Everybody loves this book. It was recommended to me a million times. I just never got around to reading it until this year, and I'm really glad I did. I really like the protagonist Travis and his relationship with a super intelligent golden retriever named Einstein. Thought this is a really strong book, even though I don't really like Koontz. I'm glad I gave him another shot. All right, top 3 of 2025. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. This is number 3. This is about as classic as American literature gets. This book taught me a lot about the Great Depression. It's a very interesting story. It's a quest story. And it's like beautifully written. Steinbeck does go on tangents every other chapter, and those can kind of drag on, but overall, it's a slow burn, but it's worth it in the end. 2 more books here. My second favorite book I read in 2025 was A Winter Haunting by Dan Simmons. This was a fantastic horror story, fantastic ghost story. For the first half, I was like, okay, where is this going? This plot is kind of going nowhere. But, there's a thrilling chase scene towards probably page 300. And after that chase scene, it just gets crazier and crazier. And the plot never gives up after that. And I thought the main character, Dale, was really well written. Thought he was a really broken character who you can really empathize with. Overall, this book was just very creepy, very unsettling. It's part of the series. I didn't realize that, and I plan to read more of Dan Simmons later. I have The Terror and Carry On Comfort, and I've been meaning to read those, and I will eventually. If you've read any Dan Simmons, please let me know in the comments what I should read next by him. Last but not least, the best book I read in 2025 was No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. I read this book. I've been meaning to read it for years. I watched the movie after I read it. Both were incredible. It's just crazy to think this could actually happen to somebody. But the main character, Llewellyn Moss, is a freaking idiot. He steals a bunch of, he runs across a crime scene and takes a bunch of drug money from a drug deal gone wrong. And the book just follows him as he's being pursued by the law and this Mexican gangster. Very well written, strikingly original plot. I recommend this book to anybody. It was just completely fantastic. Yeah, so that's my video, my all the books I read in 2025 ranked. Please stay tuned. I'm going to be making a lot more videos in 2026, hoping to read a lot more in 2026. I'm currently halfway through Needful Things by Stephen King, so that'll be my next review. I'm hoping to finish it probably sometime this month. There's a ton of other books I want to read, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and happy 2026.